From the drawing, to the grading, to trenching, to the forms, and to the great concrete pour. This is the next step in my 30x40 shop build. Thank you for following along, and welcome to my framing video. Alright, here we are on the very first day of the framing. I gotta tell you, it's been super hard to try and film all this. In fact, for the duration of this video, I was only able to get like a time lapse from this view here. I had to get pretty crafty, and I got my GoPro, got it all set up in the kids' jungle gym, so it's a little elevated. I had problems with the last video for the concrete with my GoPros overheating. Like, it seemed like around 30 minutes every single time they would just get too hot and shut off. So I was really jumping around trying to fix them cameras a lot, and it was just a pain in the ass. But this time I kind of researched, if you want to call it that, just kind of searched around and tried to figure something out, because I had to work all week. There's no way I could be home to film all this, unfortunately. And what I found out is that you can just hook it up to like a power supply, yank the battery, and put some kind of fan on it. And that's exactly what I did. I got a little example of that here. I know it looks pretty redneck, but it worked, and every single day I was able to get 7 or 8 hours of footage before my wife turned it off for the day. And here we see the first wall going up. That was such a cool moment. So prior to them laying it up, when they do the wall, they take that bottom plate and they match them to all the J-bolts that are all along the walls, all the way around this building. And they go ahead and drill those holes out, so when they nail all these studs and bottom and top plates on there, they could just lift that wall up and it slides right over them J-bolts. So you're going to be able to see them kind of go back around and throw a nut on a plate and a nut on every single one of those J-bolts all the way down the wall. I basically got a pretty good example of this bottom plate they're putting on these things, and they just look like regular old pressure treated 2x4s that you'd get from Lowe's. Some places they're all like double stacked, and I don't know if that is just how they do them here, or maybe that's a good reason for it. I don't know. Maybe drop a comment if you're a carpenter. No idea what kind of nails they were using. I've watched some other YouTube videos where they're like kind of saying you got to use galvanized nails if you're gonna go into that pressure treated. I have no idea what these guys used, but just assuming since they're pros, they know what they're doing. So when I was designing this, I wanted to get the most height that I could. One of the little things that was kind of working against me was the town. The town has a rule where you can only go as high as the building that's on your property, like your primary residence. So in my case, that was 16 feet to the very top. Sorry, 14 feet. My bad. So these walls are 10 foot high on the inside. I got 2 garage doors. The one on the left is an 8x16, and the one on the right is an 8x10. The windows are 4x4s, or sorry, 4x4 length and width, and there's 9 of them. If I was to do it over again, I probably wouldn't have gone as big on the windows, because those, like, where they meet the bottom is just kind of short, and I kind of wanted to do like a really long workbench going from wall to wall towards the back there, and those windows are just kind of low, but that's okay. That'll make an interesting YouTube video later on how I address that down the line. So it looks like this is where we're at on that first day. They're just kind of buttoning up, putting these temporary braces down. And up goes this house wrap. Now, I've seen a lot of house wrap on a lot of different videos on YouTube, and I always see it's like Tyvek or some commercial brand, but these guys, I don't know if, I doubt they make their own, but they definitely got their company logo on all their house wrap, so that's pretty cool. And it looks like they just started up with the sheeting, getting it all laid out where they want it. Now, this sheeting seemed like it was a T111, and I did kind of confirm that with the guy. He said it's like a T111. I don't know if that means it is, but it looks exactly like a T111. And these look like they had, it's either some kind of primer or maybe that's the finished paint. I'm not sure. We haven't really gotten to that part yet of finishes, but yeah, it works. Unfortunately, stucco wasn't in my budget, so this'll do, and it looks good, so I'm real happy with it. And there they go with that router, cutting out all the windows. And here we go with the trusses. I tell you, this is the cool part of this video right here. Get to watch the roof go on, and I tell you, it's so much different to walk in that box when it's got a roof on it. It just makes it look so massive on the inside. Camera doesn't really do it justice. It's a pretty good sized building, I think. So you kind of see on the left side of the yard, kind of just drug it right now. He's got a gable end over there, and they got that gable end sitting on this little stack of trusses right there. That's going to go on either end, and that's what's going to give it a lot of good stability there. And they're finishing up the little bit of house wrap they got left. Should we even call it house wrap? I mean, it's not a house. It's a shop. I mean, I'm gonna be living in this building probably for the rest of my life. So maybe it can still be called house wrap. I've kind of noticed, like, just watching this, they're cutting them out to the basic shape that they would need for those garage doors, and then just coming back later to route out all the rest of the sides there. It's kind of an efficient way to do things. Now if you notice on that right side, they got, it looks like two 2x4s ready to stabilize that gable end, so they're gonna put it up on both ends right here as you see it, and push it up from the middle. That's so cool to watch. Unfortunately, I don't have camera on the other side, but you see this guy up here on the ladder. It seems like he's putting in a 2x4 that I'm assuming is precisely cut, and he's just got them all ready, so they just kind of butt those trusses up against those 2x4s and move on, so it's already perfectly spaced out. And I'm willing to bet there's a guy on the other side doing the same thing. In fact, I can see his ladder through the window. So these guys have been pretty cool to work with. I mean, everybody, the concrete guys have talked to me, answered any questions I had, and I'm more or less just asking questions about the process because I just find it so interesting. And these guys, same thing. The framers came out that first day and were just saying, like, hey man, you want to know something? You want to learn something? You got any questions whatsoever, man, feel free to ask. And it's just like, oh, okay. And I really never know what to ask until I'm gone and at work or something, and I think of something, but I always get back and ask them, and they're always happy to oblige. So, Cool dudes. I don't know if you notice this too, but I'm noticing it right now that the sky, all the smoke in the sky right now, that's from the line fire up behind Big Bear, I believe. And it got real bad that day. I think that one went off, and then the bridge fire not too far away on, well, it's on the Wrightwood side. Got pretty bad. Yeah, those fires got pretty crazy around here. It was big news. But, you know, living in California, it's kind of how it is every single year. Big old giant fires in the mountains. Sucks too, because it's like the nicest place to live in Southern California is in the mountains, but it's just one of them things that those people got to deal with. That danger of fire is real. So I noticed when they're paneling up these two gable ends right here, you got a guy on the right side of the screen, and there's a guy on the left side of the screen, and I'm kind of wondering, watching this video, were these guys racing to get to the other side? Like, I wonder. I mean, they do it every single day. Maybe they're kind of like, hey, what's up, man? First one to get to the other side wins. Loser buys beer or something. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I'm sure they've done it. Alright, so I think this part is called the fascia. Correct me if I'm wrong. So unfortunately, with that little part, I wasn't able to get the footage because I've been using tape to kind of block the sun for my camera, try to keep it not getting too hot, and this stupid piece of tape started flipping around and got in front of my camera, and I wasn't able to get that front part of the shop. So, kind of sucks, but, I mean, you guessed it. They put a bunch of 2x6s up there and started nailing them down. So this roof, these sheets, they're OSB. I'm not sure what particular kind it is, because these, on one end, it just kind of looks like a basic OSB sheet like that, but on the other side, it has some kind of like, I don't know, some kind of liner. I don't know what it's for, what it's called. I assume it's like a thermal break or a fire or something or other. I'm not sure. So, maybe, oh, you kind of saw it there. Here's a better example of what I'm talking about with everything all finished. And as you can kind of tell, it's like that silvery looking stuff. Dude working on the roof, man. He's got a hard day. All out there in the sun. Can't hide from it. Just gotta get through it best he can. And everything's gotta... It's gotta be quality work or it won't pass inspection. So, you know, he's gotta, like, take his time, do it right. Make sure it's good, because I'm sure he's not having a great day being up there on a roof. Who knows? Maybe the guy likes it. I will say, though, every single day these guys came out and framed, it was over 100 degrees. So, that just kind of gives it some context. I feel bad for these guys, because, like, the 2 weeks before this, it was, like, great. It was in the 80s. It was just perfect. I mean, I work outside myself, so I kind of understand what it's like to work out in the hot-ass sun and just fry away all day long. But these guys booked it for this week, and man, it's just a hot one. That's pretty much it, all buttoned up. So these guys are just going around, fixing a few little things, cleaning up. I did not get any trim yet. Honestly, I've been just so impatient with this video, you know, I just wanted to get it out there. I mean, it's trim. It's just some little pieces that go on the edges, kind of make it go all out. Look good. And here's my favorite little inspectors. Thank you guys for watching. This concludes my framing video. And just a special shout out and thanks to my wife. You know, she's got our 2 kids right there. And she's due in about 6 weeks with our 3rd, so honestly, none of this would have been possible without her being able to manage the cameras when I'm at work. Alright, well, that's it for this video. If you're interested in seeing where this goes, in the coming weeks. Feel free to subscribe and drop a like. Thanks.